Hello, football fans. Welcome into our Tuesday night showdown between the 1-1 Hellhounds of Birmingham and the 2-0 Wolves of Anchorage. The new kids on the block, if you will, as they start their inaugural SFLm seasons with a few bangs in their books. I'm DJ Kilgannon. Today, I'm joined in the booth with Mr. John Campbell. A pleasure to be here with you, my friend and colleague. How do you think this one's going to unpack?
DJ, thank you so much, and like you said, it's an absolute pleasure to be here today. I'm looking for both teams to learn from what happened last week. Can Anchorage keep their momentum strong with an excellent performance out of Pajak, Parker, and Hightower through the air? And can Birmingham bounce back after a disappointing loss to last season's champions? Are we going to see another rough outing from West, or are we going to see the game plan change a bit to see Goodman air it out to Django, Klinect, and Sango a little bit earlier today?
Yeah, I like the way you think. It seemed like Goodman had some success in the air when he did throw the ball last week in that loss. But nonetheless, let's get started. We have about an hour and a half of football. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you get used to our voices quickly, as Birmingham is going to start with the ball on offense. Let's take a look at them. Quarterback, former SFLm Season 10 Offensive Rookie of the Year under the helm. Number 21, Robert Nemchek. Number 42, Lenore West, going to be your halfbacks. Number 34, Jalen Wells at your fullback. Receivers, you have Nolan Pierce, Has-Been Keys, and Marquis Sango. Your tight end's going to be Django West. Mike Klinect, and your offensive line going to be Damon Alucard and D'Angelo De Jesus, as in those beautiful purple and greens. Goodman going to be under center, a single back in the backfield.
An excellent setup for this drive by another wonderful return. Oh!
My goodness! Wow, what a way to start it, John. And they're going to call that one a fumble. But, even if they're probably going to look at a review here, but it looked to me like the catch was made. There was some sort of interference from the defensive back. The ball never hit the ground. That's an interception.
You're absolutely right about that. That's either a fumble and a beautiful grab by Julian Gasca, or they can call that a pick even. An excellent play by the cornerback to come up on the receiver and snag that ball before it hits the ground.
Well, I'm certainly glad I got through with the offense, because we won't be seeing much of them for a little bit, as the Wolves are going to take the field led by Mikkel Pajak. Going to be under gun with 5 wide. Going to take that 5-step drop, surveys the defense, fires it to the left-hand side. He's going to connect between the defensive backs early. That's going to be Kevin Parker with the catch.
Absolutely beautiful grab from the ex-receiver there, and this is what I was talking about. Last week they found incredible success spreading the ball around to Parker and Hightower, as well as their tight end. Look for some more beautiful passes on the outside from Mikkel Pajak this week.
Kevin Parker accumulated 6 catches, 82 yards last week. We're going to see some more empty out of Pajak in this Anchorage offense. 2-step drop. He fires it to the left. Looked like a little bit of a drawn-up screen there. Play going to be broken up. Looked like that was William Patterson who got a hand on it.
I think you're absolutely right. That was a little wide receiver screen, and Patterson read that like a dollar store romance novel. Just absolutely dominated on that play. Couldn't quite come down with the pick, though.
Yeah, now Pajak, another opportunity already inside the 10 after a few plays. Now finally bringing it back into the backfield. Going to be a draw right up the middle. He's going to bring it down to about the 3-yard line. Looked like that was Aunt Tim, who we have seen churn out yards on those draw plays in previous weeks, especially in week 1.
That's the benefit of starting with those empty sets right off the bat, is that when you put the running back in there, the defense is still looking past, and you can sneak those draw plays in for gains of 8 or more.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got an eye for him. Looks like it's going to be a pass, firing it to the right-hand side. No one in the area, maybe some confusion on the route that was ran. Looked like it was targeted to Sanj Singh, the defender in the area helping in coverage.
And the defender just gets a little more physical with him than Singe expecting there, and instead of running a true hook, looks a little bit like a flag or maybe a short out, and there's a bit of miscommunication from them and the quarterback, leading to an incompletion.
Yeah, now with such great field position in that great first play that started it, going to have to result in 3 points. You feel like that's got to be a win for the Birmingham defense after what certainly could have been disaster.
With such a short field to defend, to hold this Anchorage offense to 3 is a great start for the Birmingham defense.
Certainly is. Now, Birmingham gonna get the ball back. I feel like you gotta shake that off, almost like a fluke, right? I mean, it was a solid throw in coverage. The defensive back just made a tremendous play. That's not a play you're gonna see every time. I'd like to see them try and air the ball out, but let's take a look at the defense that made that huge play last time out in these Wolves. Their defensive end is going to be Jad McPherson. The defensive tackle, Finn Steele, playing in the middle. Their linebackers, Bobby Green, who was the player of the week last week in his performance versus New York. Duncan Onham, the other backer. Their offensive linebackers, Zachary Babineau. Their corners, Julian Gazka, Eric Belmont, and their free safety, Spider Webb, going to be patrolling the top of their defense. Goodman hoping to shake off that last play. Going to be under center, a back in the backfield. Going to hand it off. And no, he's not. He's going to keep it and fires it up the middle. Going to connect early.
And if you're on the sidelines in Birmingham, that's exactly what you want to see. Goodman is not gun shy after what you called perfectly as just a rough play for him in the last drive, going right back to the air and finding that favorite target, Marquis Sango, who we said last week in the second half almost turned that game around for Birmingham. Love to see him making that pass early after the rough first drive.
Completely agree with you there. Going to go bunch to his left-hand side. He's going to take a 5-step drop. Fires it to the right side. Looks like a little bit of early contact maybe on that one. Let's see.
And you're exactly right about that. Pass interference on the defense. Is that on Julian Gazka? Just makes that aggressive play a little too early. It's the kind of coverage you love to see a half second too soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's just something you got to learn as you develop as a young minor league player. That's what the whole league is for, right? This is his third game as a minor league player, just joined to start the season. You just got to iron out a few of those wrinkles.
Well, and he's in a great position to learn. Spider Webb is back there, not just as the free safety covering the back, but also one of the defensive minds of this Anchorage team. So he's learning firsthand directly from that coaching staff on and off the field.
Ooh. And a tight throw there. Speak of the devil. Spider Webb on a huge defensive play, jumps the route, unable to hold on to it, bats it down for a terrific play. Read the eyes of Goodman very well. It's not something you can say often, as they sticking with some play action, it looks like. The second instance we've seen of it. They're going to go back to I form now. Two receivers to his right. 2-step drop, fires it to that back that was previously in the backfield for a gain of just about nothing. Looked like that was Lenore West trying to get involved in the receiving game.
And you want to see Lenore West be set up in a position where she can get shifty with it. She is one of those elusive backs who, if she can get off that first tackle, will easily get you 5 or more yards. That just wasn't a great setup for her to run free.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to go back to a bunch look. It's going to be the same rollout just to the other side. Firing it over the middle, but all it meets is the hands of the defensive linebacker, Bobby Green. We talked about how such a impact he made last week, already getting a pass breakup early in this one after the previous interception, and now forcing Birmingham to punt. That's 2 drives now for Birmingham, really haven't amounted to much, and bringing out the punter. Looks like it's going to be around the 20, rolling back towards around the 12.
Favorable roll for them, not quite that coffin kick inside the 10 that you want to see, but honestly, for a non-con punter, that's good enough, right? It's going to put them down at about that 12-yard line and make Anchorage really work for the full field in front of them.
Yeah, completely agree with you. You don't see much tremendous special teams work down here in the minors league, but we're involving it slowly, and they're getting better as we progress. More empty now for Anchorage, and what a catch there by the big body in space. That's Sanj Singh who gets targeted again, and what a beautiful catch by the tight end.
You can tell he's been kicking himself on the sideline since missing that play in the end zone before. Beautiful one-handed grab stretching out to make that field a little less open.
Yeah, and last week only had 1 reception for 12 yards, but Over the course of the season has been involved a bit, and now we're going back to the well. The empty set has been working in the open field. Why not continue to go with it? Gonna fire it over the middle. Gonna be tight coverage, but gonna be caught by Kevin Parker. You mentioned it earlier, John, how impactful he might be.
That's absolutely right, DJ. And whether it's that 2-yard gain that we just saw there, or a 15-yard, or even more later in the game, last week he had a 31-yard reception. So look for him in all different kinds of routes, really making that Birmingham defense continually guess what's going to come next.
Looks like it's going to be a pitch off the offset eye, and gonna churn it ahead for a few yards. Not too much to work with. That was on Tim on the run. Now let's introduce ourselves to this Wolves offense. We talked about Mikkel Pajak under center. John Osmosis going to be your halfback along with Aunt Tim. Chevy Monte Carlo going to be your fullback. We'll get to more shortly after this play. Pajak going to have one offset. Going to take a 5-step drop, and he's going to get hit, but he stays up, fires it to the right. What a catch! What a broken sack. He connects with Sanj Singh again, and the streets of Anchorage are going to be singing after that.
That Anchorage physicality, that toughness that you need for that Alaskan wilderness, they are showing it all over the field tonight. Pajak throwing off the pick, and then Sanj Singh once again going up and working hard for those physical grabs.
Yes, certainly a presence in the pocket is Pajak. He's going to roll to his right this time, firing it over the middle, and he's looking like a surgeon out there, like a pack of wolves surrounding their prey, surgical and technical. That one connecting with Bobby Tarantino.
And it's Tarantino's first catch of the game, and that's how you know how deep this Anchorage wide receiver core really is. You can spread it around to Parker and Hightower, get the tight end Singh involved, and we still have Elliott Pope and Tarantino off the Dev League backing them up. There is so much depth for that air assault from Anchorage.
Absolutely. Again, going back to bunch. 5-step drop, plenty of time to throw again, connecting over the middle to one of the receivers. It's Parker.
And he was just behind the defense, only had the safety in front of him, and the route just wasn't quite there. If Pajak throws it a little bit more vertically, that could be 6 for Anchorage.
Yep, completely agree with you there, John. Just floats it right over the head of that linebacker to be able to connect, really taking advantage of the levels concept. We're going to see another offset back in the backfield for Pajak. We're bringing a tight end in motion. That's Singh, who's been really involved. Keep an eye on him in this play. Survey your defense here. He's going to hand it off to the right side. That's going to be Tim, brought down shortly after the handoff. That's going to be 29 there on the stop.
It looks like Anchorage is off to another slow start on the ground. And this is interesting because with the combination of Osmosis, Tim, and Monte Carlo, you could expect a lot more running game out of this Anchorage offense. But they've been pretty happy with the 2-3 yards that they gain, which open up those downfield looks for their receivers and tight ends.
Yeah, we had a super explosive week from Aunt Tim to open the season. After that, been a little bit quiet. Only had 15 yards last week, and it seems the run game is a little congested to start this one as well. Pajak gonna drop back, firing it to the running back, who's gonna fight for as much yards as he can, but to no avail. Stopped short of the sticks. That one's gonna be Dustin Sokasi, the dagger, stopping that one just short.
And it looks like Birmingham is once again happy with this bend and not break approach. Anchorage stormed down the field and brought it all the way down, but they're still going to have to settle for 3 on this 25-yard attempt when they had a couple of good looks at 6 points in the end zone.
Yeah, and they're going to kick that one up through the uprights, and not exactly what you want out of 2 drives to see 2 field goals, but it's certainly better than the opposite, which is 2 0-score drives.
You can say that again. Look for a really strong return here from Birmingham's Nolan Pierce. He is not only a wide receiver coming down in the Dev League, but he is also their lead returner.
He is, and going to bring that one out to the 30 is Pierce. He's very quick, very shifty out there.
And that was a strong return, right? You can't take a knee. He's catching it there behind the 10. And to fight through that first contact, make a little work happen, and have the Birmingham drive start at the 30 is exactly what you want to see out of that kick return specialist.
Yep, absolutely. And now, going to have more single back here for Birmingham. Goodman hoping to shake off the previous drives and start anew. He's going to take a 5-step drop. Plenty of time to throw. He fires it to the right side. Maybe a little bit of contact there on that one.
And sure enough, it's pass interference on the Anchorage defense again. And not only on the Anchorage defense again, it's on Julian Gasca again. We are seeing this corner really fight for his life out here. When he's in good position, he doesn't need to be making these plays as physically as he's making them.
Yep, certainly. The coverage is tight, but a little too tight. And it's really been the most production we've seen out of Birmingham is to the fault of Anchorage. Now we're going to have an I form here for Goodman. Looks like we're going to motion over a receiver from right to left. Surveys his defense. He'll take a 2-step drop. A lot of time to throw. Fires it to the back. And she breaks a tackle. Going to fight forward for a first down. That's Lenore West doing what she does, John. You talked about getting her in space, letting her work. And I guess that's the result of it.
And there's that shiftiness. And the play looks so similar to the one that didn't work in the last drive, but like you said, it gave her just enough time to find her feet, scan the field, and make that first hit miss, giving Birmingham a first down.
Looks like a strong eye look for Birmingham now, again motioning that receiver from right to left. Got a nickel look here for Anchorage. Going to hand it off a outside run to the left-hand side for nothing. Robert Nemchek gets lassoed down shortly for a gain of, like I said, nothing. Zachary Babineau on the nice defense there.
And that's the strength of the Anchorage linebacking core. We talked about Bobby Green already, but Zachary Babineau and Duncan Onum are no slouches either. The middle of that Anchorage defense is a tough one to contend with.
Absolutely is. And another throw into very tight coverage. That one trying to connect with Django West, who, again, we've mentioned him plenty of times. All these receivers in Birmingham get involved quite well. Pretty much everybody has 6 catches or more, but Jordan Goodman really just struggling tonight against this Anchorage defense, John.
Especially over the middle of the field. And that's what happens when you have the defensive player of the week smack dab in the middle, looking you square in the eyes as a quarterback. You're afraid to go to the middle, and when you do, you've got a million different pieces of coverage to contend with.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, going to that short left side, really just nothing. The defense of Anchorage just completely bottling everything up. That's number 28 there, Darren Woodson, who makes the tackle well short of the sticks, forcing Birmingham to punt again.
And that's what we were saying before. You didn't need to get all early on the physicality and risk those pass interferences. The defensive schemes that Anchorage has been throwing out has got Goodman seeing double.
Absolutely. And you know, we have seen in previous weeks, it's just all about getting him going. We still haven't seen an interception from him, but you know, he's at about 60%. He's been steady, just not at a elite level, would you say, like we saw him last season.
He's still trying to move on from the Goodman to Goodman era. Now, he's got Mike on the sidelines coaching him up and drawing up the plays, but not having that favorite receiver has clearly got him started a little bit slower this season.
Absolutely. Speaking of receivers, the ones for Anchorage, Kevin Parker, Joey Hightower, Elliott Pope Jr., and Bobby Tarantino, who've got to say plenty of times, Sanj Singh going to be your tight end. Going to be empty. Oh, he's going to run it himself, and he's going to gain the first down before getting leveled by who I believe was William Patterson over the middle. It was.
Mikal Pajak doing his best Will Smith and just getting jiggy with it, salsa dancing through the line there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you don't need to get much. If you can keep it in the hands of your trusty QB, why not do it? A short run there. Pitch to the outside for Tim. Going to be bottled up for not a whole lot. Both of these run games seeming pretty stagnant, except for a few explosive plays here and there.
It looks like both of these defensive coordinators came into this week saying, if you're going to beat me, you're going to do it through the air. The question is, who's going to come up to the challenge first?
Yeah, and whose pass defense will be able to keep up while their run defense plays so well that time. Tim finding a little bit of room, bringing it down to 3rd and short. And let's talk about the offensive line, who's given him so much room to run when she can, I should say. That's Jackie Jones, Jess Fullerton, Galarza, Rose Steele, and Demon Pickle. 0 sacks allowed through 2 weeks.
Definitely something that Anchorage focused on when they were building this team. Was dipping into that dev league pool, making sure that they had a strong line, because there we see Osmosis now coming off the bench, well-rested legs, being able to push forward for the necessary yards on the first down.
Now, that's going to be the end of the first quarter, a score of 6-0. 2 field goals to Anchorage's name. No one has reached the end zone yet. Will that change come the second quarter? We're going to see Mikkel Pajak under center. Offset single back look here. About 5 down on the line for Birmingham. They toss it out to the right-hand side. He's going to meet a linebacker towards that right-hand side. That's going to be Saeed Gore, who's going to meet her there on the side for a gain of 4.
That's a great time to call that toss. You called that they had a lot of men down on the line, but that meant it was going to be harder for them to break to the outside for stopping that toss run.
Absolutely, and going back to the bunch that we've seen him use a couple times, running it up the middle. That's Osmosis trying to get a handoff, and now a familiar 3rd and 3 for this Anchorage offense.
And what's interesting is that's not the first time they've run out of the bunch. They've been willing to set up that pass look formation and get the ball off to Aunt Tim to see what they can do.
And I think it's a great idea. Now they're going to run that one up the middle with Tim, and nothing. The linebackers again showing up. It's Saeed Gore once again saving the drive for them, and 2 runs back to back. And like you said, they're not ashamed to run out of these pass looks. And with how well they've been passing the ball, I think it's not a bad idea. Make the defense scared of the pass and then run it when they aren't expecting it. But it's seeming like Birmingham is certainly expecting it.
No, you're exactly right. And as much love as we've given Bobby Green so far this game, we can't overlook the incredible work of Saeed Gore last week as well. In that loss, he had 9 tackles, 2 of which were TFLs, and 1 sack. That's something that is beautiful stat line out of your interior linebacker. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to guarantee the win, and so Bobby gets the nod for the week.
We're going to have a single back look against the nickel here for Birmingham. 5-step drop for Goodman. He fires it over the middle and connects. Finally, you get a receiver, just a little bit of space. That's Marquis Sango, who's able to find a little bit of room in the middle of that Anchorage pack.
And I am so completely unsurprised to see Goodman really hone in on Sango already in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Another big, speedy target playing out of Lexington in the Dev League. He has 2nd most yards on this team, just shy of 130 coming into this game. You see another single back look here for Goodman. Looks like he's plenty comfortable in it. Going to see some
Anchorage
more
is showing
motion.
man blitz here. There's going to be a lot of pressure coming into the Anchorage D.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing. Great analysis, John. And a run up the middle. You saw the offensive lineman hold it off for a bit. That's Robert Nemchek, who found a little bit of space in the middle, cutting the distance, 2nd and 5.
With all that pressure coming from the outside, it meant that Nemchek could find that A gap next to the center and cut for 5 on first down, what you love to see out of your running backs.
Another single back look here. Again, a run up the middle. It's going to be Lenore who gets bottled up shortly after a gain of not much. Going to be 3rd and 3, another familiar sight.
3rd and 3 once again for Birmingham. That's not even the first 3rd and 3 this drive that they've had.
Looks like it's going to be an I-form look here. Certainly looks like Anchorage is expecting a run with their defensive setup. And they guessed correctly, and they shut it down. Robert Nemchek goes for it again, and Bobby Green shuts it down.
That entire Anchorage defense was hungry for that run. You called it exactly right, DJ. The defensive coordinator on the sideline there knew what Birmingham was going to go for, whether it was inside, outside, power, toss, it didn't matter. Anchorage was ready for that run, and sure enough, Bobby Green was there to eat it up right away.
Yeah. Those Wolves were frothing at the mouth for that one, and they certainly bit at the right time. Now let's get a look at this Birmingham defense. Fred Himes and Rodney Smith going to build up your defensive ends. Hendrick Callahan, your defensive tackle. Saeed Gore and William Patterson going to be your linebackers. Dustin Sokasi and Scotty Kilgannon going to be your defensive backs. Run up the middle for nothing. Just a gain of 1 as again Saeed Gore shoots the gap well, smothering out another run.
It's so nice to have that stability at the middle of the defense, right in that Mike position, reading the runs or those quick little passes in front of him.
Hey, Jack again. Oh, he's going to get hit in the back again. He stands tall and again connects over the middle to Joey Hightower.
How does he do it? Mikal Pajak once again just ignoring the sack, standing up tall and getting that middle pass beautifully to Hightower.
Rodney Smith, who has 3 tackles through this season already, if I'm not mistaken, all coming from one game. He is not an easy man to break a sack from, but Pajak did it. He fires again to the right-hand side, going to meet the hands of a hellhound. To no avail, that one's going to drop for an incompletion.
That's almost a grab by the strong safety Sam Garnes there, and just the first really true misread by Pajak tonight.
Yeah, that one tight and double coverage, and maybe he's used to that pressure. Maybe he needs a little bit more of it. Because every time he breaks the sack, it's just a perfect throw. Can't break it that time. A gang of hellhounds gonna bring him down. If I'm not mistaken, Rodney Smith and Hendrick Callahan were involved in that one.
I think you're exactly right. Smith breaks in on the strong side and gets that first hit. Pajak stays on his feet, but Callahan forces the issue on the second. That Fort Worth defensive tackle is absolute hell to contend with for the Hellhounds.
Absolutely hard to break a sack when you're in the middle of a sack sandwich. And couldn't that time. So much time to throw that time, and off the mark again. Looked a few yards ahead of Hightower. He's not that tall. And it's going to make 4th and very long. We're going to have to see the punter for Anchorage come onto the field once again and get to work.
And this is one of the rare times so far tonight we've seen the Anchorage punter. Usually it's been the other kicker. We've seen Garfield a couple of times. Welsh is going to get out there and try to pin Pierce deep.
Yeah, we mentioned how the non-contracted punter for Birmingham has been a thorn in their side. Trace Welsh out of Queen City for Anchorage. Certainly a nice crutch to lean on whenever you are forced to punt.
That's exactly right. Even that little difference between a non-con and a dev leaguer can make all the difference in the world, especially when it comes to special teams.
Absolutely. Going to see a split look here for Goodman under center. Some nickel from the defense. Going to pitch it. I love the play call there, giving Lenore a little bit of room to run. You turn around, pitch that one right behind you to your best back, and just let her work.
Let her get that first spin off, and she only gets 1 more yard out of it this time, but look for them to keep going back to that well. Once it starts getting going, that is an unstoppable force that they have on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw it out of her and getting well over 100 yards all-purpose this season and 3 touchdowns as well, and there's some of that magic. Breaks a tackle early on that play, pushing ahead. Gains 4 on that very tough run.
I mean, you could easily have credited her with 3 broken tackles there. That first one had 2 guys right on her. She pushes through the second tackle and gets it down to 1 yard to go.
See a handoff right up the middle, and maybe a generous call there for Nemchek. Stopped right at the line, it looked like. But they're going to, they're challenged. There we go.
There's the flag. We were going to wonder if Ryan Davis was going to put the red flag on the turf, and sure enough, he's saying that line judge just didn't get it right.
Let's see, maybe we'll get a much better look at it, but even from here, John, that first look wasn't too great. And, I mean, yeah, maybe get a side angle here. Oh, here we go.
That's the angle. Ooh.
Yep. Definitely looks short to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it was generous that we called it live, but I could see this going either way.
Overturned. Zachary Babineau going to get paid out for that stop, making it surely 4th and inches now for Birmingham. 4th and 1, close enough, and just over 4 minutes left in the quarter. I feel like you got to be forced to punt this one again. They will, and that's just got to sting from an offensive point of view.
Well, and on Anchorage's behalf as well, you're not only getting this ball back, you're also keeping all 3 of your timeouts in what is a 1-score game with 4 minutes to go in the half. They have the entire playbook to choose from now on how they want to make this drive count.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen 2 scores, both being field goals from Anchorage, and pretty good field position. You know, the Anchorage offense has been able to perform, been able to get plays downfield, but it feels like once they get into the red zone, kind of slow down. Let's see if they can change that rhetoric. Going to see some bunch here for Pajak. A single back foot, takes a 5-step drop. He gets hit in the back. Who else? Rodney Smith cleaning it up for a sack.
Now that he's got the scent of blood in the water, he is coming back time and time again. Smith is here to stay. Anchorage has got to watch out and find some way to get Jones and Fullerton Galarraza to watch out for this attack coming from the edge.
Smith just so fast off the edge, able to burn around the tackles before they can even get a hand on him. And the pressure was there again, but the strong safety bats it down after the pass to the right-hand side. I don't know if you saw Smith there again almost connect.
Well, and whether or not I saw Smith coming down didn't matter. Mikal Pajak certainly did, and almost threw the ball right to Sam Garnes. Once again, just not quite able to come down with that pick.
Yeah, whether he saw him, felt the ground shaking, or felt the breath on the back of his neck, he felt something. That 6 cents kicked in. Empty now for Pajak. He's going to take off, stuck behind the line. He pushes a man over, and he's tackled behind the line. William Patterson lassos him down behind the line of scrimmage, making it 4th and 16, and an early punting scenario for Anchorage.
Patterson's been having a great season in Albuquerque in the SFL already, just doing yeoman's work down here with the kids in the minors. This is the kind of leadership that a defense could absolutely learn from. And sure enough, you are seeing shades of William Patterson and Rodney Smith every one of these pressures.
Absolutely. And, you know, that punt was coming from the 15-yard line was the line of scrimmage there, so maybe 10 yards back and punting it down to the 45, even with a Dev League punter. That's a tough punt to make. Birmingham going to be one of the best field positions they've had all night. If you're going to be able to score, you got to do it from here, from the Anchorage 45. Yep.
You're absolutely right, DJ. You have to capitalize with 3 minutes to go, starting on enemy territory.
And they're going to hand that one off up the middle. Doesn't seem like they're too worried about the clock. Giving that one to Lenore West, letting her cook.
He just gets stuck behind the tackle, Kareem McKenzie there, unable to decide if she wants to cut inside or outside, and instead, no cut happens, and we're tackled for a 3-yard gain.
It looks like maybe they're expecting a run again, bolstering up that line. They get what they pay for, but doesn't matter. Nemchek just churns away, barreling over defenders in a very tough run. Going to charge Nemchek up to 3rd and 1 now.
You want to talk about getting what you pay for. Nemchek said, I paid for this helmet. I'm going to use it. Absolutely barreling through those defenders and making every yard count.
Absolutely. Looks like they're ready for it again. Will it matter? Goodman under center, a single back in the backfield, we won't know. 2-minute warning now. Birmingham getting that free timeout. Going to give them a second to regroup, rearm themselves and maybe change things up as they come to the line of scrimmage for this 3rd and 1.
That's what having a veteran like Goodman under center will let you do. He saw the defense in front of him and said, nope, I'm just going to let the 2-minute warning happen here.
It looks like almost the same exact formation, if I'm not mistaken. A pitch out to the right side. Lenore gonna find some room, spins away from the linebacker. Finally chased down by Babineau after a terrific run.
That's the biggest gain we've seen on the ground so far for Birmingham, and it could not have come at a better time. Lenore just finds the hole towards the outside of the field and drives the Birmingham offense just to the edge of the red zone.
Yeah, and that Anchorage defense was so congested in the middle of the field trying to stop inside runs that pitch just completely had no one there. And a really nice run there for Nemchek. Gonna find his way up the middle. Didn't get touched until he had already gained 6 yards.
This is when Birmingham's at their best, when they're switching off between the elusive and quick nature of West and that straight up the gut running of Nemchek. Never let the defense know what kind of run they're going to see next.
And they're going to keep guessing as Lenore West is going to get another inside run well past the sticks. And they're going to call their first timeout. Inside the 10 now. We talked about if they're going to be able to find the end zone here, if they can take advantage. Still up in the air. Let's see if they can.
Looks like they're coming out here in a single back formation, but don't let that make you think it's going to be a pass. West could absolutely run out of this.
Yeah, it seems they've been very comfortable running out of the single back look so far. Goodman has lived in it, it feels like, in this game. That's going to be, looks like 19 in motion out there for Birmingham. Going to take a 2-step drop, firing it over the middle. Tight coverage there. No room for Django West to be able to catch that one.
And they set up the defense perfectly. Goodman calls the motion. He sees man coverage in front of him, but still can't quite find the zone that he wants to pass it to, and the ball hits the turf.
Another single back look again. You know, we've seen this look a lot. Going to see some motion in it this time. Django West, who tried to connect with previously, going to move to that left-hand side. 2 receivers to his right. The nickel look here for Anchorage. Going to take a 7-step drop. He fires it to the right-hand side. Over the 2 defenders. He's going to connect. Birmingham finds the end zone. And if they make this extra point, they'll take the lead as well.
That is a huge reception for Mason Griffiths. Absolutely finding a hole in the coverage there, and that's what having that pre-snap motion does. It lets you see, am I looking at man or am I looking at zone? And they saw zone, and that post route to the outside corner was broad daylight.
Absolutely, and you know, we questioned is a strong word, but you know, the passing ability of Goodman in this game was up in the air for a little bit. We saw a lot of really tight contested throws that, you know, aren't usually what we see from him. But that one, John, I mean, that's just perfection. You have the 2 corners playing soft zone on him. Goodman having the touch to throw it over them just to where Griffiths can catch it in that back corner.
And you and I were talking that very drive, how we were seeing the best runs out of Nemchek and West that we had seen all night. And to cap it off with the best pass we've seen all night, we might be seeing the momentum really hit Birmingham's favor as we enter the end of the second half.
You know, maybe Birmingham just needed a little fire lit under them to get them going, and you know, in this cold environment, that might be the case. And Anchorage now gonna have that same pressure. A minute to go. You still got your timeouts in your pocket though. Pajak gonna fire it to the left-hand side, completely wide open. So much room on the sideline. Finally chased down by the free safety, Scotty Gilgannon. A huge connection there from Pajak to Hightower. They're already on the other side of the field in one play.
Hightower is a dangerous receiver. He came in partway through the season last year, but still ended with over 12 yards a catch and 31 yards a game. It's the kind of thing that you love to see out of a young guy, and we've seen an excellent training camp in the early part of this season. That's the kind of thing that you love to see out of your young receivers.
Pajak gonna fire again to the left-hand side. What a beautiful one-handed catch and a quick timeout. Made me unable to see the number of who made that gorgeous catch.
I think that may have been Hightower again. If not, it was Parker. It was one of the ones.
Yeah, one of the ones. I was gonna say the same thing. Maybe Pope Jr. got involved. It was somebody with a 1. Now we're gonna see Pajak again. Offset, single back, fires it over the middle, and great defense there. That's gonna be William Patterson who breaks that one up, trying to connect with Bobby Tarantino.
Going over the middle for this pass is a pretty aggressive choice. We're under a minute to go. Sure, you've got your timeouts to play with, but you'd expect to see a lot more outs and corners at this phase of the game out of Anchorage.
Yeah, completely agree with you. Even, especially considering they still have room for a first down, and we're going to see an out, but to no avail. Going to be a diving catch to the ground. The clock still rolls, and of course, most importantly, no yards gained. Pajak going to drop back, firing it to the left, and it's just bottled up. And going to be a drop there. Really tight coverage, who looked like was the safety.
Absolutely feeling the sweat on his brow. Mikal Pajak makes a couple of decisions there, and the red zone on this drive that just did not pay off for Anchorage. First, that low and away pass to Singh that he's got no chance to run up the field with. And then again, passing it to the middle of the field into multiple coverage sets. They're able to walk away with 3 here and still take the lead going into half probably. But again, Anchorage might have been looking for more than just 3 points on that drive.
Yeah, I can certainly imagine they would have liked that after the huge connection with Hightower really opened up the field. But things really not working out for them in the red zone. We've seen that all game, and it continues to be the case. But for now, what they've done is enough. They have the lead with their hat trick of field goals, and looks like they may go into the half with it unless we see something crazy happen here for Birmingham.
The best news there for Birmingham is that was at least a really short drive. So their offense is able to keep that heat and that momentum going and maybe get down the field again for a really quick 3 before the halftime whistle.
Crazier things have happened, but again, we've seen them do everything out of the single back. Could be a run, could be a deep pass. It's all up in the air. Goodman going to take a 5-step drop, fires it over the middle, going to connect with his receiver. That's Has-Been Keys who's going to catch that one. They're right past the 50, 7 seconds, 6, 5. He's going to hand it up off the middle. Looks like they're happy going into the half. They're going to, maybe yep, a timeout going to come out. Thought they might have been out of them considering they didn't call one sooner. They're going to call one. 2 seconds left on the clock. Really going to have to just toss something up and hope it works out or run it out.
Just absolutely going to bomb this ball deep and hope that Has-Been Keys or Marquis Sango is where they need to be to maybe get you those last 6.
Let's see it. Goodman running backwards, fires it far to that right-hand side to no avail. Trying to connect with Sango, like you said, and that's going to be our first half. A hat trick of field goals for one and a single touchdown for the other leaves us with a 2-point game. John, break it down for us.
Well, this has just been one heck of a half of football. Both teams have come out with aggressive looks in the air and not really leaning on the run games that we were expecting to see. On the other side of the field, the defense has been the story of this game. If you had told me that Anchorage and Birmingham were going to have a combined 16 points at halftime, I would have told you you were crazy. These are 2 high-flying offenses that are being stymied by the just most stingiest of defenses. Beautiful game plan so far by the coaching staffs on both teams.
Completely agree with you there. Patterson going to be awarded your player of the half, a sack and 7 tackles to his name. This has been the first half. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back, football fans. This is the Virtual Football Network. I am DJ Kilgannon. Welcome into the booth is also John Campbell being your analyst today. John, it's great to have you again. Now let's get another half.
It's an absolute pleasure of a first half, and I'm expecting more of the same here in the second. The first return already great. Tarantino taking that ball up to the 34.
Yeah, you got to think maybe your halftime adjustments kick in, a little bit of those wrinkles that you had in the first half get ironed out. You talk things out, and let's see some more explosive football from two very explosive teams. And a good start to that. Pajak going to be in the empty set under center. Takes a two-step drop, fires it to the right-hand side. Looks like a very dink and dunk type pass as he connects with Kevin Parker after the little hitch route.
Ajax's been so comfortable, not just in the empty, but specifically the empty with the three receivers to his left. It's been opening up the field in a lot of different ways that Birmingham clearly was not expecting coming into this week.
And absolutely, you're going to see some motion here from left to right. Hightower making his way there. Single back formation here. Takes another two-step drop, and he fires it to the left. Going to connect there with Sanj Singh, who just got right past the linebacker into that soft spot in the zone.
Getting it out just before the pressure came to him. You could see Pajak was getting nailed as he released the ball, but sure enough, it's all that he needed to get Singh the time he needed to get open.
Now after the first down already, after that good kick return, going to be past the 50. Going to see some bunch now in what looks like a forming nickel set. Pajak, five-step drop, a lot of pressure. He fires it to the left-hand side. Kevin Barker looks like he ran just a 10-step curl route or maybe a little out route that was underdeveloped and certainly worked out in his favor. Yeah, it looks to be a little bit of a curl route, and the corner completely bit on it. Wasn't even in the realm to make that pass deflection.
Right, Donnie Abraham just over-committed to that route and left so much space for Parker to get that first.
Yeah, you can't draw up a much more perfect curl route than that. Really tight coverage that time from Birmingham. Kevin Parker, the intended target, to no avail. The hit was made before the ball was even able to connect.
The question is, was the pass even catchable? That was pretty low at Parker's feet, and so even if the coverage was a bit more physical than you'd love to see, the refs might have said hey, no one was coming down with that ball anyway.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. That one was at the turf, basically. Pajak, two-step drop, pressure around him, and he fires to the middle. No one even within 10 yards of him. It's Hightower again, who just seems like he might have COVID or something because no one wants to get near him, John.
Man is working in the quarantine zone. And just incredible work by that Anchorage offensive line. You could see both tackles and both guards continuing to get squished in and squished in and squished in, but Pajak stood tall. Like you said, just a two-step drop, but it took nearly 5 seconds to get that ball out.
Yeah, and shout out to the Anchorage offensive line, giving Pajak plenty of room to work, and we follow that one down to the end zone. Kevin Parker gonna catch that one in coverage. Wow, what a beautiful catch and throw.
More tight coverage by that Birmingham defense, but the ball was placed in just that spot where no one was coming down with it or Parker was coming down with it. Just over the head of the Birmingham defender while his back was turned, so he had no chance at actually making a pick there.
Yeah, it seemed like the defense was pretty much perfect on the entire route until Kevin Parker just got a step ahead and really just forced his way in front. And a beautiful throw from Pajak finally connects. And, you talk about halftime adjustments, John. A team that struggled 3 times back to back to back to score in the red zone just did it with ease.
And maybe the adjustment was to do the exact opposite of what we said here in the booth. We saw next to nothing out of Osmosis, Tim, or Monte Carlo on that drive. That was a full-blown Mikal Pajak show, and his wide receivers dominating that drive.
Absolutely domination it was. We're going to see a single back look here for Jordan Goodman in Birmingham. Going to hand that one right off the middle. The Norwest going to break a tackle and fights for a few more. Going to push ahead for 8.
She's doing her best impression of Robert Nemchek there, not shifting off the contact, not spinning through it, just barreling right up the middle like it means nothing.
Yeah, certainly born to fight through contact is Lenore West. We're going to see some I form here with Nemchek in the backfield, a 4-3 look coming from Anchorage. Gonna hand that one off to the right-hand side. Gonna be power look. Nemchek's gonna bury an individual and fight his way for a first down. My goodness, what a hit on that one.
It was a short gain, but it was enough of a gain, and the hit went both ways there. You want to talk about equal and opposite reactions? That was two blasting forces coming right at each other.
Car crash, if you will, and Birmingham going to keep going. They're going to do pretty much the same exact run. Lenore West going to break off that first tackle to get hit again shortly after. A gain of 3 to start that little possession of downs there.
And if you're getting 3 to 5 yards out of your running back, it might not be the prettiest plays in the world, but they're still going to get you that first down when you need it. And you are going to see Birmingham really lean on these backs now, I think.
Oh, and going to throw that one over the middle. Something we saw Goodman struggling with pretty heavily in that first half, connecting with Mike Kleineck.
That's right. That's the Denver tight end coming down for a bit of Dev League action. And that's what a strong running game will do. It frees open the box so that your tight ends and your slot receivers can make those nice seam cuts.
Yeah, especially when your linebackers are that first line of defense to stop in the run. They got to watch it. Goodman, two-step drop here. So much time to throw. He fires it over the middle. Finds Griffiths wide open, well past the sticks. Going to be down around the 20.
Griffiths is only in his second week of action, and he has shown that he is here to play. Goodman has found some comfort in this young receiver already. Only 2 catches, but when it's 2 for 41, that's just beautiful work out of that Z spot.
Absolutely. I mean, just an explosive target right now for Birmingham. They're going to go back to an empty look here, bunching up to the left-hand side against this nickel defense. Plenty of time to throw. Goodman going to fire it to the right-hand side on a pass that certainly should have been caught. Is not. Django West, hands on his head after that one.
You hate to see it if you're the tight ends coach, because West ran that route beautifully and just couldn't get the ball in the gut when he needed it.
Another look here, another empty look for Goodman. Fires it over the middle. That one to Lenore West, who unable to haul it in again. Hands on the head on a pass that looked like it should have been caught.
Well, in that case, at least Bobby Green was right there. That's breathing true. Down her neck. I don't know if he got a hand on it or not, but he was at the very least in the middle of that play. Really, really gutsy throw by Goodman.
It looks like they're leaning on the pass a bit more to start this one, and maybe sprinkle in a few runs on this possession of downs. It could have been different, but they're going all out pass as they see some motion to the left-hand side. Rolls out to that left-hand side, fires it across the middle into a sea of Anchorage Wolves. That one is going to be incomplete after a very risky throw from Goodman.
Anchorage came out here in a heavy defensive back set, and in that case it was their corner, Terrence Newman, who I think is 4th on the depth chart, was just in there at the right place at the right time to smother that play.
Absolutely was, and going to be forced to kick a field goal now. It's going to be Ronald Suey playing down from Chicago, the Dev League, after a 9-play, 61-yard drive. Going to equal 3 points for Birmingham.
DRS just hooking that just inside the post. I thought it might have squeaked outside, but looks like a gust of wind worked right in his favor, and Birmingham walks away with 3 on the drive.
Absolutely. Points are points at least after the heavy pass attack we saw at the end of that drive to try and punch it into the end zone was no avail, as Anchorage seemed to bolster up and somewhat expect it. You see a return now from Anchorage, going to get way to about the 33, and that's another great return. We've seen that a lot from Anchorage in this game, getting to around the 34, 35-yard line on these returns.
Elliot Pope Jr. down from Sin City, just making absolute work here on the special teams looks that he's been getting. Pajak has been passing the ball around pretty evenly to Parker, Hightower, and Singh, and Pope's not been too involved, so he's taken every chance he can on these kick returns and punt returns to make them count.
Absolutely. And Tim, Going to get the pitch there out of the offset eye. Going to get about 6 yards before he's met by a defender. Making it second and very manageable now for Anchorage. That's the fullback. Or I believe, yeah, it's number 20 there down in the backfield for them. They're going to hand it off right up the gut to him, and he's going to get brought down behind the line of scrimmage there, making it third and very short now.
That is Chevy Monte Carlo, and absolutely not something you see all the time, the fullback run. But when you've got that Hemi engine that Monte Carlo's packing, might as well rev it up.
Absolutely. Going to go back to a pitch to Tim. Going to bounce off of a tackle and gets lassoed from behind, well past the sticks. Really nice shifty run there for Tim to find some space that we haven't seen much of. Now let's see this display of blocking there. Tremendous job. Bobby.
Beautiful blocks by the wide receiver. Not something that you're always going to work on with your X's and Y's, but man, Tarantino was hungry for that block.
They must teach him good there in Chicago. Beautiful blocking there from Tarantino. That's Pajak going to be under center. 5-step drop, going to survey the defense. Pressure on his back, but he throws a beautiful curl route to that left-hand side. It's Kevin Parker again, who seems to be living through those routes, John.
And look at that, just the overcommitment by Dustin Sokassi there allows an easy little hook snag for Parker. It's not going to give you a ton of yards after the catch, but if it gives you a first down, you're going to take it every time.
Yes, certainly will do. And another draw. We've seen Tim live off these routes. That time, no luck. William Patterson snuffs that one out like a small flame.
It's been the pitches and the draws that have been the most successful for Tim. And we saw a couple of good pitches and tosses this drive, but you're right, that draw just got swallowed specifically by the Birmingham linebacking core. They came down in the box with a vengeance here.
Absolutely. More offset eye now from Anchorage. Pajak firing it to the left-hand side. Who else? Joey Hightower cuts inside, finds the soft spot in the zone, and John, he's just living off of that.
DJ, you have called it exactly right. That route by Hightower, it's simple, it's not too crazy, just a nice little deep slant, but the way that Pajak knows exactly where Hightower is going to be every time he runs that route lets him get the ball right in the gut, right on the numbers, and Hightower's done a great job coming down with it consistently.
Absolutely has. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Go back to the offset eye. It's Ant Tim tries to circle around the offensive line, take it the other way, and just to no avail, drop down for a loss of 4 after the big hit from the line of safety. Yeah.
That's right. That's the safety, Sam Garnes again. He's had a couple of rough plays in coverage, but he excels at these kind of tackle for loss situations and run coverage plays.
Yeah, and another tight throw there connecting with Hightower, who was able to catch that one in coverage. Hightower spent his season last season in Boston, where he was a part of the receiving corps there, playing under Dakota West, and he was really him and Curtis Friesen, along with Mike Kleinecht, were the key mark receivers over there, and he was the more physical of the bunch, catching passes in coverage like that all the time. Continuing that, and we're going to run that one up the middle, and oh my gosh! Give it to the man, and he's going to bury an individual. A car crash again. Monte Carlo doing what he does best. Tough, physical football.
Man's treating the red zone like a demolition derby. Just absolutely. He went out of his way to smack that dude.
Yeah. He had a bone to pick with Sam Garnes after he saw how Sam Garnes hit on Tim on the previous play. My goodness, what a hit. That hurt me up in the booth, John.
My man's slowed down at the 1-yard line to let Garnes come at him full force just so he could throw him out to club.
Yeah, someone bring a stretcher, bring the first aid kit, whatever we have on hand, because my goodness, someone is injured, whether it was the person who got that hit, someone who watched it. That hurt me and everyone else around it, I'm sure. And we're going to have it back into the hands of Birmingham after a shifty return there from Nolan Pierce. the quick, shifty receiver out of Carolina, getting involved on that nice return.
That's absolutely right. And sort of similar to what we were saying with Anchorage, Pierce isn't getting all of the looks on the field because West is getting so many looks, West is getting so many looks, and Sango is being so much used. But when Pierce is making, especially on the kickoff returns, more so than the punt returns, he's giving you 30 plus every single time.
Absolutely is, and the short field position certainly going to help in getting the points to come back in this one. Firing it over the middle, connecting with Django West, your big tight end.
A rare no-step drop. Dude just stands up from under center. Goodman surveys the field and really quickly gets that ball out to Django West for an easy first down gain.
And John, those are the type of plays that just terrify me because so much could go wrong. You immediately snap it and fire it quickly over the middle, but a guy like Goodman can get it done.
You need to have faith not just in your receivers and tight ends in these plays, but also in your center. That is a hard snap count.
Yeah, absolutely is. And, you know, especially with Finn Steele as that nose tackle, right, playing up the middle could be such a scary thing to look down the barrel of. But Goodman able to do it. Going to see some single back here. Got 3 receivers out to his sides. He's going to make his way to the left. Firing it over the middle to no avail. Has been Keys unable to hold on to it. And it was great coverage, which made him not hold on.
Well, and Keys makes an incredibly athletic play to get up and go after that ball with the jump, but unfortunately the Anchorage safety is there just wailing him in the back. I am pretty sure that was Darren Woodson.
Another great play from him. We've said his name a few times now. Looks like we're going to have 2 to each side of Goodman in the backfield. 5-step drop for him. Makes his way to the left. Pump fakes, and he's going to take off. Looks like they're going to call it as a first down after a nice little scamper run from Jordan Goodman.
And that's not a designed quarterback run. That's not even a run option play. That's Goodman throwing off the defender with the pump fake. Oh, but here we see once again the challenge flag coming out from Ryan Davis saying that Goodman slid a little too soon and it's not truly the first down.
And I'm going to be honest with you, John. I think he is right. You know, I'd stumbled on my words a little bit. I was going to say a gain of 9, but they gave him what seemed to be a generous call. Oh, no, maybe he gets
it's where that knee goes.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, I think it's just shy. I think it's another good challenge.
Yeah, looks like the knee was in front, but the ball was behind. Let's see if they get it. They do. Another great challenge from the coach over there, Ryan Davis. Trusting his guys with what they tell him, throwing the challenge flags when they matter most, making it 4th and inches now from Birmingham. Now I'm curious, John, what would you do in this scenario?
Ooh, I would probably set up in an I formation and throw the sneaky fullback run. Get as easy and strong a way possible for just these 6 inches that you need.
They will take your advice with the run, but not to the fullback. Going to be to Robert Nemchek, and they are going to gain the first down. Going for it with half a minute left in the 3rd quarter. I love the decision to keep your drive going. As the 3rd quarter ticks away, Goodman, is going to go back under center. Single back in the backfield as the clock ticks away. Maybe see one more final play. Going to see some motion now from Birmingham. From left to right is the tight end. 4, 3, 2, and we see a snap. Goodman rolls out to his left, firing it over the middle, and it is dropped again by Has-Been Keys. I mean, to no fault of his own, that was a hospital ball. Very tight coverage there from Anchorage.
EJ, you said it absolutely perfectly. That last play of the 3rd there, it's another drop by Keys on the stat sheet, but really, no human could have come down with that ball. Keys has been put in some really tough situations tonight, and it's unfortunate to see such a promising young player not get the numbers that he probably thinks he should.
Yeah, and you know, still leading this Birmingham team in yards, but could be so much more if you're able to catch a few of those. Lenore West knocking over one of his own linemen like it's a bowling pin as she continues away. gains a gain of 4, and finally seeing some running now from Birmingham makes it 3rd and a little bit scary.
Get your 4s up in chat. It is the 4th quarter, and we've got 4 yards to go on this play.
Goodman firing it to that right side, and it is caught. Nolan Pierce getting involved in the passing game. We haven't got to see much of it.
And that's just an incredible physical awareness by Pierce to catch the ball and to keep that foot on the sidelines to get just that 1 extra yard you need.
And again, thank you all for being here on this Tuesday evening. I am DJ Kilgannon, joined with John Campbell as this 4th quarter is going to begin. Birmingham just outside of the 20. I formation for them. To the right, they're going to hand it off up the middle. Lenore West going to fight through defenders, and oh my goodness, going to be a first down on what could have been a loss of 1 or right at no yardage gains. I mean, she's just such a tough runner, John.
Evades a tackle, breaks a tackle, and then carries a tackle forward for another 5 yards after contact. Just extraordinary work here in the red zone by Lenore West.
Absolutely. She's fighting with every ounce of her being, and that's what they need right now. You can't stick with field goals much longer. You need 7. Single back here from Goodman. Going to hand it off to the right side. That's Nemchek. Going to get a gain of 2 before he is stopped shortly past the line of scrimmage.
And it's about this time in the game that you'd love to see Birmingham start mixing some more of these play-action plays. Clearly, Anchorage is ready for the run, even here in these tight yardage situations. So let them think that you're running, and then we'll get Keys, Sango, and West open for some great looks downfield.
Completely agree, and that's what they try and do. They try and connect with Django West on that right-hand side with just a pack of wolves there, if you will, on the coverage, completely blanketing him. And, you know, this is what they kind of did on their previous red zone trip. They tried to pass it every time, tried to punch it in, and just couldn't convert. They still can get a first down, although it's unlikely.
You're absolutely right, DJ. They could get that first down there on the 1 yard line, but they are clearly shooting for an air raid pass every one of these drives in the red zone.
Absolutely, and they will again. Another empty look. They're going to motion Griffiths from right to left. Looks like a fake shovel, and he's sacked! What a terrible way to end your drive. That's number 95. That's big Colston Weatherington on the sack there. Just, oh my gosh.
Colston Weatherington operating opposite Jad McPherson, and we've talked a couple of times how Jad McPherson and Finn Steele have been dominating the defensive line for Anchorage. So who gets the most important sack of the game? Well, obviously it's Colton Weatherington.
Absolutely. And one of the biggest plays of the game. One of your non-contract guys makes a huge play, and that 13-play, 52-yard drive, which turned off so much of your time left in the game, is going to result in 3. Still a 2-possession game now from Birmingham. You've got to trust your defense to make a stop, and against an Anchorage offense that we've seen be pretty explosive, both on the ground and through the air, it's going to be a tough job.
With just under 8 minutes to go, you said it, we really need a stop out of this Birmingham defense if they're going to have a fighting chance at getting these 10 points they need with as little time as they have.
It's going to be Pope Jr. again on the return there, doing again what he's been doing best all game, getting them past the 30 on their return again. Anchorage, all you got to do is chew off as much time as humanly possible. Even if you're unable to score, that'll be a successful drive if you could get maybe 5 minutes off the clock here.
And for those of you who don't remember, we're still in the era of a touchback on a kick being to the 20-yard line, not the 25-yard line. So these 30 yards out of Pope on the return is huge for Anchorage's field position.
Yep, absolutely. Aunt Tim going to get the nod. Going to get that run on their first play of the drive. A gain of 4 for them. A nice start getting that clock moving. It's what you want to see if you're Anchorage right now. Going to have 4 wide, and a back in the backfield looks like Monte Carlo down in the 3-point stance. Pajak gonna hand it up to him up the middle, and he's gonna get met by William Patterson, and it was Monte Carlo on the run.
And that's kind of what you want to see if you're Birmingham. Let Anchorage try to run it this early in the drive, maybe set themselves up for a 3-and-out. They are acting stout as a defensive unit, and it comes down to this play here.
Certainly does. Offset single back here for Pajak. And this Anchorage offense is going to survey his defense. 5-step drop. He fires to the left-hand side. Connects with Bobby T. That's Tarantino. Going to catch that one for a gain of the first down, and that clock continues to roll.
I thought Tarantino had a shoelace untied or something the way he bent down for that grab. That is a low snag, and sure enough, he comes up with it just where he needed to.
And thankfully for them, you know, we've been seeing those curl route a lot from this Anchorage offense, and again continuing to work for him, this time in the hands of Tarantino. We see a run to that left-hand side. Tim versus Patterson. Patterson gonna win that one. Just a gain of 1 for Tim, but it succeeds in chewing more of that clock down.
Patterson has had himself one heck of a game. He earned the accolades as player of the first half, and here in the second, we're seeing more of the same. Tackles behind the line, tackles on the line, and tackles just after that line of scrimmage.
And Tim going to get the nod again, running it to the left-hand side. Again, tracked down by Patterson, who makes a very hard hit.
That might have been the hardest hit we'd seen all night. I'm surprised Tim was able to keep that ball with him as he went down to the turf.
Absolutely, we're going to see more offset eye. We've seen a lot of pitches out of this, but we don't this time. Pajak drops down, and he's going to get sacked. What a play there by Birmingham in a huge spot. That's your defensive end, Fred Himes.
Fred Himes saw Smith getting involved in the first half and Patterson all over the field. He said, I want mine too. Gets himself a huge sack. Fred Himes coming in off his second season. He got 2 tackles playing for San Jose last year, but again, making them where they count here for Birmingham.
Himes getting his first sack of the season for him, and a huge spot to do it in. Going to give your offense the ball back, and that drive only chewed about 2.5 minutes of clock there for Anchorage. Still, you know, solid enough. If you're Birmingham, you got 5 minutes just under, and you got to score at minimum 10 points, and that's just to tie up the ball game.
Expect to see some aggressive play calling here. We may even see the hurry up, even though they've got some timeouts to play with. They might start really taking the clock seriously here with about 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, and a tough run there from Lenore. It's going to be hard for them to stick with the pass when their run game has been so good. And one thing we saw at the end of that first half, John, was how well Goodman in this offense can produce in pressure. And that pressure is certainly starting to sit in.
The question is, can they afford to keep the ball on the ground this much? Down 2 scores, right? They have to get all the way down the field more than once. They've found success here with these backs so far. The question is, how much can it really give at this point in the game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your running game could be the best in the entirety of the SFLm. It doesn't matter at this point because you have 4 minutes to score twice. Like you said, I mean, they had 2 runs result in a first down there. In an I-form look, maybe you're going to see another one. We won't. Goodman, step back. He's going to fire into coverage. Thankfully for him, that one is bobbled and dropped. Zachary Babineau unable to haul that one in on a risky throw.
Is he going to catch it? Bobbles, no. Zachary Babineau just coming down with a beautiful play in coverage, but can't quite seal the deal for Anchorage here.
Another one of those risky throws over the middle we've seen from Goodman so many times tonight. Again, he's going to be back in the single back formation. 5-step drop for him. Fires it to the left-hand side. Going to connect with his receiver there. That's Marquis Sango. Been waiting for him to get a little bit on fire, and maybe that's the spark he needed.
Saw it very early in the game, but it just never carried through to the second quarter or the third quarter. Maybe you're right. Maybe here in the fourth is when we're going to see the Sango show really kick off.
Yeah, we can call that one the Hightower route. That's the route Anchorage has been using all night on Birmingham to convert. Goodman firing it over the middle again to Django West, the big tight end getting involved. Here's the hurry up. you talked about, John. Back to that single back look. Goodman again, 5 steps, fires, and it's going to be knocked out. A great play by the defensive player there. That's Eric Belmont, the corner, who was able to punch that one out.
Fantastic work by the Anchorage defense on the weak side of the field, stacking Belmont and Webb together to make sure that Goodman can't have open rain on the far side.
Gonna have an empty look here. 3 receivers bunched to Goodman's left. A nickel look here for Anchorage. Firing to the left on a play that could have been intercepted and took the other way is going to result in a first down for Has-Been Keys getting involved. Goodman again going to be in that same formation. 2-step drop. Fires to the right-hand side. And again, we see 1 completion and 1 great stop from a corner from Anchorage.
Oh, I want to go back to that play before. You are absolutely right. Belmont comes down with that ball. That could be an 80-yard return. This is some gutsy throwing by Goodman
Absolutely.
Here.
Yeah, all risk, sometimes reward. And Goodman going to have a single back look, 3 out to his right. We're going to see dime now for Anchorage. They're fully expecting pass, and to no knock to them, certainly looking like it. That's Sango who motions to the left-hand side. 2-step drop for Goodman. Fires it to the left, and what a catch! Has-Been Keys had the key to make that catch. One-handed in triple coverage. Goodman again, 5 steps. Surveys the defense, fires it over the middle. It's caught! That's Sango! Wide open, gonna catch it, and that's one of the scores, John, that they need.
There's the Sango Tango warming up in the 4th, just like we were calling it. There is some comfort between Goodman and Marquise Sango. They have already started warming up to each other. Here in the 3rd game, we are really seeing that fire burn. The question is, what are they going to do after this kick? Are they going to trust in the defense again because they have the time before the 2-minute warning? Or are they going to go balls to the walls here and go for an onside kick?
Tough call. When you look at Anchorage's offense with how well they've been running, it'll be hard to stop, but they've stopped them before, and we saw them do it on the last drive. They're gonna go ahead and kick it, which is probably the right choice here. Let your defense work, and with how Anchorage's offense has been performing, keep them out of field goal range.
That's exactly right. So, DJ, tell me, here in this drive for Anchorage, do you think they're going to go with what they've found success in, passing the ball out to Parker and Hightower? Or are they going to start to mix it up and really we're going to see more of Osmosis Tim and Monte Carlo to grind out these last 3 minutes of clock?
I think we're going to see a lot of these offset single back pitches to Tim off the edge, some handoffs across the offset, and we're seeing that offset again. They're really comfortable in it. Let's see what Pajak and this Anchorage offense can pull. You're going to see that handoff across the formation, just going to meet the big linebacker. That's Saeed Gore tackling Tim right at about the line.
Tim showed great awareness to fall forward enough to get back to the line of scrimmage there. That could have easily been a loss of 2 or 3.
Absolutely. Now we're certainly going to see that pass. Empty look here now for Anchorage. Looks like it's Kevin Parker motioning to that left-hand side. Let's look for that quick cut-in route we've seen. But no, we're going to see a little screen route to Tarantino. And I don't know about you, John, I do not like the decision there on that one. With how much people they had in the box, a lot of pressure from Birmingham, things were going to be open downfield.
You could tell they were either going to be blitzing 2 of their linebackers or dropping back into a pretty soft zone. So you'd think they're going to go outside the numbers there where it's favorable to the wide receivers. But you're right, that little screener inside keeps the clock moving, gets them to the 2-minute warning, but doesn't quite give them the first. And they've got a while to go now.
Wow. And on 3rd and 5, they are going to run it. Wow. What a wild turn of events. They go to the pass, but they stick to the short pass, which hasn't really worked for them. And then on 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 5, they hand it right up the gut to their fullback. And, that completely just halts their drive. Birmingham gets what they were looking for. They're going to get the ball back with a decent amount of time to work with.
They had to burn a timeout, but honestly, you're going to take that if you're Birmingham 8 days of the week. You have 2 timeouts to go. The field and the ball in control after the 2-minute warning. All you need is 3 to kick this baby to overdrive. Like, this is exactly where Birmingham wants to be, all things considered.
Yeah, the play calling a little bit shaky on that last possession for Anchorage, but all that matters now is the defensive play calling for them. Goodman going to be in that single back look again, going to hand it up the middle to Lenore West. She's going to fight for as much yardage as she can muster, which in this case is only going to be 1, and that clock is now churning out for Birmingham.
How quickly this clock is going to go from working in Birmingham's favor to being their biggest opponent. It's going to be wild, the flip of a switch, how this drive is going to feel.
Now let's see again, single back. Goodman, 5-step drop, so much time to throw, fires it over the middle. We see a penalty, but nonetheless, it is caught by Marquis Sango and with the pass interference.
And Birmingham surely going to decline this here, where they got the yards anyway. No need to burn the 10 seconds off the clock. Get yourself that free first down that you were catching anyway. Just go on.
They absolutely will. They get a catch, stops the clock in the middle of the field. You're not going to be able to say that often, but they do. Already across midfield at the opposing 40. Goodman, 5-step drop, fires it over the middle, just outside of the reach of Sango again on what could have been a huge play. Is going to turn into a 2nd and 10.
And they are still just outside Christian Ronald Sui's kick range right now. They need at least 1 more first down, probably 2, before they feel really comfortable pulling out the dev kicker.
I completely agree with you there, John. Going to see another look, an empty look for Birmingham. 2-step drop for Goodman. Fires it over the middle through the defenders. Connects with Nolan Pierce. And that seems to put him into field goal range with how calmly they are handling the clock now.
If not, they are just a yard or 2 outside of it. And we have been giving the Anchorage line their props this game, but man, this drive by Damon Alucard and D'Angelo De Jesus have been pure stellar play on the line.
It absolutely has. Birmingham going to continue to go for it all. A bunch look to that left-hand side in the empty. That's Django West moving to the outside of it. Looks like a nickel look here for Anchorage as Goodman going to drop back. And touchdown! It's a touchdown to Has-Been Keys. He has the key. He opens the door to the end zone, and they're going to take the lead. Wow, John, what a turn of events.
He's had a couple of rough drops there at the end of the second half, but unlocking that true potential here. As that clock grinds down, Birmingham's now got a 3-point lead, going to try to take it to a 4-point lead with just these 30 seconds to go for Anchorage. Whew, that's what you love to see if you're a home team fan.
Wow, I can't believe it. You know, it was looking scary there for a bit with just under half a minute to go. Birmingham punches it in, and they take a devastating lead over Anchorage, and now I mean, it's just all up to the hands of their defense and seeing if they can stop Mikkel Pajak. But I will say, John, anything is possible with how explosive we have seen this Anchorage offense. It wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. Talk about explosiveness. Elliot Pope Jr., his best return of the night in a night filled with great returns, pushes that one past the 40.
And outside of turnovers, this is the best starting field position that Anchorage is coming with tonight. And Pope has shown up here, breaking the tackles, shifting off the kicker, and pushing this forward past the 40-yard line. This is the exact setup that Anchorage needs to get the touchdown they need, because remember, a field goal's not going to do it. They need to find the end zone in 25 seconds.
They do. You're going to see that offset single back for Pajak. Can he do it? Will he be the hero of Anchorage? Takes a 5-step drop, fires to the right-hand side. That one is going to be caught. That's Kevin Parker inside, inbounds, I should say. They're going to have to call a timeout to stop the clock there.
This is where those successful challenges are really going to be in the minds of every one of those Anchorage fans. They've got the timeouts that they need to make this drive mentally complete and really well designed.
Absolutely. Going to go back to a bunch look. Going to connect with Kevin Parker once again outside of the numbers to the right-hand side, and another timeout. Some little bit of deja vu there.
That's a tight route. You'd love to see Parker go a little bit further down the field. You don't have a lot of play space here. You need to be driving towards that end zone.
Certainly do. Now up past the opponent's 40 now. Going to connect again. That's Bobby T. Catching that one in tight coverage, and we're going to see another timeout. 9 seconds to go inside of the 30 for Anchorage. Is this where we're going to see one of those, one of those little post routes we've seen the entire game from Anchorage? They're going to go back to the bunch. We've seen them in it plenty of times. One back in the backfield, going to be dime for Birmingham. Pajak rolls out to his left, fires to the left, only going to find the hands of a hellhound. Thankfully for him, that one is going to drop incomplete. You're going to get a chance to wipe that one clean and try again.
Nelson Sukasi couldn't quite come down with the ball, and frankly, I was surprised to see Pajak not lining up in that empty bunch where he was having so much success for earlier in the game.
Three to his right here in a shotgun look. Back into the dime defense for Anchorage. Looks like they're throwing it up to the right, and it is incomplete over the head of his receiver, and that will be the ball game. Birmingham is going to Birmingham is going to pull away with a very tight fourth quarter touchdown to win this ball game 27-23. What an exciting contest it was. John, what do you think about it?
This was a great game from start to finish, and for the home team Birmingham Hellhounds to come down with the victory and take out one of the remaining undefeated teams in the league is exactly what they wanted to do to bounce back from a disappointing week 2. Just spectacular play all around, especially out of both quarterback positions. Mikal Pajak had himself an extraordinary game today, but was just absolutely not to be outdone in the clutch by Jordan Goodman. Bringing that experience from Season 2 to the forefront today and saying to his teammates, no matter what happens, we can win this game. And sure enough, he leads the Birmingham Hellhounds down the field in the fourth, not once, not twice, but for 3 scores, total of 17 points unanswered to give the Hellhounds the victory in the end.
Great analysis there, John. Any game balls tonight that you'd like to hand out?
Oh, it's really tough to just hand it to a single person, but I am going to have to go to Goodman at the end of the day. Keeping his cool and knowing where to get the ball when it mattered most, not giving up on Keys or Sango or West despite some rough patches in the beginning of the game. Goodman showed a lot of faith and composure through this game to drive his team to this victory.
Yep, completely agree with that offensively. And now I did make sure to check while we were going through the stats. They did record that as a fumble early on in the first quarter. His interception streak stays clean. His hands are clean that game. No interceptions. Defensively, I got to go with William Patterson. Had 13 tackles, was all over the field. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this Tuesday evening. Birmingham going to pull the win out 27-23 over Anchorage. I again am DJ Kilgannon, John Campbell in the booth with me. I wish you all a great night.